Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Welcome to the April meeting of the East Lampeter Sewer Authority. And introducing everyone here, we got from the Township, Tara Hutchins, Matt Seachy from HRG, Charlie Thomas, Ralph Hutchinson. We got Vinny Patel, Fred Clark, myself, Rick Robinson, and Todd Stump. And I invite you to join us in the Pledge of the American Flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've had the minutes for a couple weeks. Unless there's any additions or corrections, they're going to stand approved as written. Treasurer's report, sanitary sewer.
Rick, I have bills that total $1,564.26, and a checking account balance of $14,586.69 as of the end of March.
Any requisitions?
There is one requisition, number 03-594. This is payable to Herbert Roland Grubick Inc. It relates to the Stauffer Run Pump Station, the pump improvement project for that in the amount of $2,820.63.
We have a motion to pay the bills and requisitions for the sanitary sewer.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills to the senators.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Stormwater bills.
Rick, I have checks that total $5,747.80 for the stormwater fund.
Are you still looking for a checking account balance for that?
Tara, I wasn't at last month's meeting. 2 months ago, I mentioned why we get a checking account balance for the regular sewer authority checking account, but not a balance for the stormwater.
Right, and we held off on explaining it until you came back. So
Okay.
if you take a look at your fund sheet, the stormwater fund sheet, which is what the title of it is at the top,
All right. There.
okay? If you look at the Univest lockbox account, that's where all of the payments come into. Now, that takes in both stormwater and sewer payments. So you'll see below it, there's a due to sewer fund, and that's all of the payments that came in that should go to the sewer fund for sewer payments. And then there's a Pliget class account. You can think of that as a checking account and the prime account as a savings account. So those are all the funds together that are for stormwater. Okay.
Okay.
And then if you take a look at the less expenses, The expenses that you have for today, the $5,747.80 is included in that $35,634.56. However, if you look at the top, this is year to date.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help?
Yep.
Okay.
Looking for a motion to pay the stormwater bills.
I'll make a requisition to pay the stormwater bill.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? So moved. Old business under sanitary sewer, Stauffer Run upgrade.
Thank you. The contractors continue to work on gathering submittals for the project. They have started coming in. We've been reviewing those and getting them back to the contractors. We held job conference number 1 and reviewed the schedule. Most of the work is contingent upon getting the big equipment items in with the electrical equipment being needed to power the new pumps. And that work there is roughly 5 to 6 months out here just for delays in getting that equipment through. So the contractors will do some work. However, they're waiting on receipt of building permits, but majority of the work here is not going to happen until the year starts coming in the pumps.
Who are you waiting for the building permits from? East St. Peter Township?
The third party, they're got a conference later this week. They of electronic. Two items here for action on this project. The first is a change order. It's change order number EC01 for electrical contract. The contractor came to us and they asked if we would accept a value engineering credit for substitution to use aluminum conduit as opposed to the galvanized steel and PVC coated galvanized steel required for the project. That allows for a reduction in cost as well as reduction in labor. And the total cost of the credit is $17,011.50. So we have no objections to it. Recommend authority accept it.
I make a motion, we accept the change order number EC01,
Yep.
the Stauffer Run project.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the change order EC01?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Said the second one.
Second item, don't have any in the packet here, but we got a quote in from OCC, who's the systems integrator for the project. The contract identified that the owner, in essence, not the contract responsibility, but would replace the pump control panel as part of the project. If you remember, SCADA and controls at all the other pump stations. Well, this one here, part of the upgrade project. So the cost for that's $29,843. They submitted a quote there for us. They're the ones that did the work at all the other pump stations. They maintain the system here for the township. So we recommend that the authority accept that and staff can then proceed with a purchase order for that work.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve the SCADA upgrades.
I'll make a motion to approve the skate upgrade. Just haven't marked up. It's not on.
No, it's not on there.
It's like it.
Matt, could you repeat the amount, please?
$29,843.
Thank you.
You got a
I'll
motion.
second,
We got a second.
Fred's
We got a second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
That's everything.
Any other old business under sanitary sewer?
The other thing would be, we received comments from PennDOT on the Route 30 bridge projects that they're doing in regards to the sewer relocation. So they provided some comments to us on our design drawings. We're getting those addressed. PennDOT has asked for the cost that we're developing there for the construction work. One of the items they asked for was if there's any costs associated with any additional easements that may be necessary, that we can also include those. So a lot of the work is being incorporated. But I think there may be a small area outside of that if there's additional need for authority easements that we should review and consider. And if we need to get Solicitor Cream involved in that process, we should start that. So there's 3 properties, I believe, that are impacted based on parcel lines.
Is it just a little overlay where it's outside of PennDOT's right away that they've added?
Correct. Yeah, it's
Yeah, the sewer line on both sides of the road head north and south. So they're crossing properties, and then when they come back north and south to get back to Route 30, they're crossing private property.
there's an
There's a
existing bridge
relocation.
there. PennDOT's going to replace the bridge, widen it
Okay.
further out, away from the bridge as part of that process.
Yeah, we'll definitely need Solicitor Cream's assistance with that effort. So we'll have to talk with him about what kind of cost would be involved so that we can communicate that to PennDOT.
Any other old business under sanitary sewer? The treehouse work that's still being done, what's going on there?
You want to explain that, Charlie?
The sewer lateral is complete. They agreed to take full responsibility on the vault that was in big question that they want to install like 12 or 13 feet to monitor. That excavation is complete. They're waiting on the structure to set that. They went to the board, they're going to the Board of Supervisors Monday night for approval for their addition for the building. Any waivers or anything get approved on that, but the sanitary sewer that we look at outside the building is complete except for the vault setting.
Yeah, the vault was sort of a point of contention for a while because they wanted to put a sump pump in it that would pump whatever was in the vault initially into the lateral, right?
Correct.
And we said, no, that's going to have surface water or other
Right.
water. It shouldn't go in the lateral. They said, okay, we'll pump it out on the ground. It's like, well, no, because if you have to do some work in there, that's going to be sanitary sewage. We don't want that pumped out on the ground. So it's kind of a conundrum there for a
What
little
do you
while.
pump it to?
We went back and forth for a month and a half and they decided to do away with the sump pump. They'll just, if the vault gets filled up with water or there's water in there, they need to get down, they'll get a vac truck and suck the water out at
Yeah.
that time.
They want to incorporate a flow meter and a pH meter in to monitor what's coming out of the facility. And in order to do that, what they've developed is in essence a big trap on their entire sewer lateral.
Right.
Our concern was, as they expressed it, their flows are very low at times when it's just sanitary use coming out of some restrooms. However, at certain intervals, once a week or so, they may dump their cookers where they have a large flow rate. So our concern was that low flow period, you have this trap in here, you're gonna get sediment, rags that are getting caught in there. Could get clogged from time to time, and if you ever had to get in there to clean it, they had clean outs in there for that purpose. They open that clean out up, there's no way to isolate the flow, you're gonna get a lot of sewage build up in that vault. So if need be, they'll bring a Kleins in or something along those lines to pump that vault out, should that happen.
All of this, of course, relates to them needing to put in their pretreatment system so that they're treating the flow before it enters our system. They need to have that completed and operational by the end of this year under the city's orders. So that involves adding on to the building to house this pretreatment system, which generates a land development plan, which is why they need to be in front of the Board of Supervisors. So
Why don't they just have some?
We asked that question.
That was the second question that we had for them, and they wanted.
Excuse me, I'm just a
No,
comment.
you're right. No, that's
You're right.
perfect. I thought, why just avoid all that and have a separate lateral? That They wanted, and
Must be
then
more the way they're doing
in
it.
the end, they said the vault and everything in that vault might be just temporary. In a couple of years, it may just do away with it. Because they got readings, they're getting double readings now back at the addition and in this vault to make sure they match. Is what I understood.
So they're putting sensors at the pre-treatment equipment in the building addition they're putting in. They also want to put a redundant sensor meter here in the vault, just so they can have 2 points of confidence. And they say, after a certain period of time, if everyone's comfortable with the primary sensor, then they'll eliminate the trap in the vault, pull the sensors out, and basically fill the vault in and do away with it.
This is our engineer.
Sounds like an engineer's taking them for a ride.
Good night.
They've got,
I think they're in-house engineers. Oh, no, there's an outside it.
Gleim, or I'm sorry, E.L. Heim. E.L. Heim's doing, Heim's doing work. They just like a design build. And then there's for the process component, the pre-treatment, they've got some other specialty firm involved.
Wow. Well, it's not our business, but I guess.
We asked the same question, so we were trying to figure it out. And they're doing it the way they want to do it, so.
Guess as long as they get to doing exactly the way the township wants it done, I guess it doesn't matter, but it sounds like they're spending a lot of extra money.
Well, the city's driving the pre-treatment system primarily, and it's certainly in our interest to make sure that they pre-treat so that we don't get the junk that we were getting before. And then once all that's done, then we'll get back into, doing the final cleaning and everything on our system.
Okay, any other old business under
I
sanitary?
just have a question on the Oaks pump station and so forth. I mean, are you going through like a full layout design or you just?
We're taking the GIS information that we have rims and inverts, capturing the LiDAR data that's available from the state,
Right.
overlay that, just so we can see how far down do we have to go.
Yeah, you just have
To
to do a
replace it.
conceptual, well,
Correct.
do you got it or not?
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing we're trying to figure out is there's a stream that's going to parallel this line, which runs under 30, and cuts through the Easttown mall there. And we're trying to see if there's any records on how that flows.
A stream.
There is, yep.
It's in a pipe down through.
Yeah.
But we're not quite sure how that makes its way through Red Lobster and those other areas there, because that potentially has an impact on where the sewer line can run.
Is that what flooded back a couple of years ago pretty bad?
Yes, July, we were having a meeting when that storm hit.
Yeah.
And Route 30 went underwater.
Yeah, it basically flows right past the pumping station right now and then goes into a pipe there at the state police and flows down through and then outlets on the other side of Greenland Drive.
And that's probably been that way for years, ever.
Yeah.
How long's Easttown Mall been there? I remember when it was a farm at one time. How many?
You're a lot old.
I am a lot older.
Is it down by the community center? I think is where
Yeah,
they-
down at the bottom of South Oakview is where it
Yeah,
exits.
is where the head wall or end wall is. Where they, so.
Stormwater, old business, Greenfield Road, Amtrak Storm Sewer Project.
I'll turn it over to Tara if you want. We did have it out to bid. Bids were open yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it's
separate. At this point, this number, we're approximately 30,000.
Right.
The other two.
I don't know if anybody has any experience with this contractor. I recognize the name, to be honest with you.
He's out of the Harrisburg area. I don't,
I've seen the name as a, doing a lot of pavement. I've seen him do like street paving, parking lot paving, but not necessarily this type of work.
From staff's perspective, I think I can say safely, we'd like to get the project done. We don't like the fact that it's that much to get it done. We never really anticipated that it was going to be that expensive. I
Because what's
remember,
your options? Your option is just let it flood every time it rains.
right, the same as it's been doing, for how long now. So.
Since it's been around.
Not before that.
Candidly, we have funds available in the stormwater fund, which is where we're going to pay this from. And, I don't think it'll do any harm to any of the other projects or programs that we have planned for the stormwater fund at this point. So.
It's a shame to spend that much money on a road that has a bridge that limits the traffic that goes through there anyhow.
I think when we bid this last year, it was around 320,000 total. So in a year, that's the jump in price.
It's going to be
My comment would be is I wouldn't be bidding anything you don't have to right now. I'm saying if you take 2 years off on this, I would bet you it'll be less. That's an opinion.
You guys are the ones that vote on this stuff. So.
You know what I mean?
that's-
I mean,
This thing's been that way for.
I'd say just because the money's available doesn't necessarily mean,
bubble.
if it needs, absolutely needs to be done. it's one thing.
Yeah, it has to be fixed. I agree. You have a responsibility to fix it, but it's, what's the deepest it gets there?
The water?
2-3 feet?
Oh, I bet you 4 feet. There's cars been under. It backs up the whole way to LaSalle.
Oh, I thought it would run across that parking lot down.
It runs in the buildings at the, I just want to say Continental, Commerce Park. When they know it's going to rain, there's businesses on Greenfield Road and Commerce Park. They put sandbags out.
And the thought that it's all that high property without stormwater on that runs through there has nothing to do with,
There's a lot of water comes off of their property.
I mean, there's buildings that have been there forever too, and there's absolutely no stormwater. I mean, it's all macadam and it all runs to there.
Yeah, on the west side of Greenfield, that's true. On the east side of Greenfield, they do have some stormwater facilities there from when they expanded the yard years ago, but
East side of Greenfield. Oh,
Yeah.
that yard up in, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying, where plant 1 and plant 2 is and all that is all macadam.
Yeah.
That all just runs down there.
Mhm.
So where do you take the landowners to be responsible versus the township has to pay for it?
landowner's not going to do anything. We have the ability to take the necessary easements, which we did,
Mhm.
to, provide for the design of this remedy. It's not an ultimate solution. I mean, we can't promise that it's never going to flood under Amtrak there ever again, once we do this project. But this is gonna make a big difference and
Yeah.
help the situation tremendously. But, I mean, the channel does go down a little bit farther than where this project would end. And then there's a big culvert that goes back under Amtrak, just west of High's property. So,
And then it runs back behind towards Hack.
Yeah, down
Correct.
behind Cedar Acres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen it surcharging on Greenfield Road right around LaSalle, and the water was probably 3 to 4 foot in the air coming up out of these inlets in that intersection.
Well, you do have a life safety issue because of the roads, and we can't sit here and talk about it delay because of costs and then have a life safety issue and then that problem. So now you're,
it's,
There's no way we could use this as an expense towards what we have to spend with the whatever it's EPA or whatever till the end of what 2023.
It does not count towards an
That's right.
MS4 project or a core credit.
Just seems like it should or could qualify to me, you know.
I mean, I would hold off on it if you could. However, that because there is a life safety issue, you really shouldn't hold on to it, hold up on it because if something happens, it's gonna be your fault.
Hutch, how long would they hold the bid for us?
they're good for 30
Nowadays,
days. That's 30 days.
30 days
I wouldn't
probably.
hold-
30 days.
I wouldn't hold a bid. 30 days.
30
days. How long does a project take to do?
Something like this, 3 weeks tops. I mean, the longest thing's gonna be getting the pipe. I think they said there's gonna be about a 23-week leeway of that to get the material in.
Sort of hold off, but you really can't.
Yeah, I think probably ought to just move forward with it and get it done.
Just write it off, bad timing.
I don't know of a more important flooding condition that we have in the township.
When we get a light dew, it usually goes underwater.
Yeah.
It's a bad area. It's just,
I know if I was one of the business owners down there that I get flooded every time it rained, I think I'd be up here bitching about.
I've been dealing with it.
Yeah, they're frustrated for sure.
That's why you're Charlie Thomas and I'm not.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Right now, there's a 24-inch pipe down there that's trying to carry all this water. We're gonna be installing a 4-foot diameter pipe.
so you want a motion?
I think so. I think we should move forward and get it done. The job, the project done. 358,000 plus township expenses.
What's the township expenses?
Well, that's just the contractors. I mean, the township has tree removal
The
and
tree removal is, I just looked, 13,500.
We don't need a motion on that.
no, but the whole project is what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
gonna eventually cost the township.
You making a motion to?
I will
accept
make a
this?
motion to accept the CPA pavement services bid of $358,708.
Is there any way we can check this CPA place out at all, or?
What they're doing is not rocket science, so come on.
It's not.
It's-
Okay.
It's not.
It's
rocket
pretty
science.
straightforward.
I'll still look into it though, but,
I mean, don't spend a lot of time.
You and I could get down there and backhoes and have fun.
right up against Amtrak.
It's not that tough. So,
Everybody watching this.
yeah.
Go watch the
Then he
recording.
watches it later on. He actually, for some reason, didn't you tell me you'll watch them later on YouTube?
Yeah.
Did he? Did you say that? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion I think we have a motion, right?
Our motion, yeah.
To accept the CPA Pavement Services Incorporated bid to do this project. We have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Tara.
Hutch, for that, is there any requisitions as money, or does that just come out of like the checking for the stormwater projects?
Yeah, that'll just come out of the stormwater
Okay.
fund.
Any other old business under stormwater?
No.
New business sanitary sewer treehouse discussion. Did we discuss that
We
already?
already did.
Yeah, covered that.
Okay,
I'll move that up into old business till we move any further on that if you want.
PFM discussion.
Scott from PFM really wanted to be here today.
You heard Fred was coming back.
Yeah,
But
That's why he gave it to us in color.
decided to
yeah,
just
okay.
provide us with some information. He was sort of looking at rates out there and what's changing and thought about whether or not there'd be an opportunity for refunding, and we basically decided there really wasn't any opportunity there that was worthwhile to pursue. But if we were looking at any new money, which I know you were talking about before and wanted to consider some point in time going forward, he generated some numbers. Again, this is just for information purposes, so that
How long will it be till we really, really, really need capital with what we have on the book or projected now, allowing for real projections? Not math, or I'm sorry, not the cities. Real projections.
yeah, we actually,
Because we currently don't have enough capital to complete all the projects, correct?
for everything that's on the city's list, no, we don't have.
But
So you're gonna have, this said 1.5 million for Stauffer Run.
Yeah.
Over the next year. This is a starting point for your own project.
that's on here, isn't it?
Yes. Um, And you've got 2.1 in from the 2019 borrowing. And it's showing roughly 234,000 in construction fund currently.
So where did you say, what's in the construction fund, the project fund is a 413, there's 2.1 million?
There's currently there's 234,000 in Fulton Construction Fund.
Oh, you add all three of those together.
Yeah, the 234 plus 26 plus 2.16.
She got about 2.5.
Take off, say $1.5 million for Stauffer Run, so
Right.
roughly $1 million.
Did they give you a date for the sewer relocation for the bridge work? 2024, 2023?
They're hoping this summer to have everything pulled together in the next couple months. But I think that's before they even go out for bids or anything. on those ones.
Yeah, I think if I remember, it was
Yeah.
24.
Just thinking about the Route 30 paving project. Okay.
Opinion now is not the time to farm. Unless you really need it in the next 12 months.
I agree.
You're gonna see this spike and you're gonna see it come back down. The rates are gonna be a lot higher by the end of the year than what they are now. But if we don't need the money. Is he saying what kind of rates are available today?
Well, he ran these scenarios 1 and 2, which is the 2.5
Okay,
million he ran that at 3% average, and the other he ran at 3.25% average.
Okay.
That's where those numbers come from.
and on these city projects, what's the date? Is there any escrow funding that we have to do before
So
in
there's
24?
There are some escrows that are gonna be coming up here this summer. They're primarily, I would say, the ones that are listed in May, June timeframe. I think those are the ones that are more realistic to happen this year. So you're looking project number 7. I mean, there's $21,000 there. Probably got out of projects 9 and 10, somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000. You know, we'll see what the actual numbers come back like. Later, there's probably about another 90 to 100,000 out of some other electric service upgrades and additional funding needed for the DO control project. So no big ticket items per se just yet. That's really going to get you there over that $1 million. The new clarifier upgrade project is probably the big ticket that's coming up here, but the city's running into some delays with that job associated to finding an old, they purchased land from PPL to put the new clarifier on. When they did their geotechnical investigation, they found it was an old dump. So they now found contaminated soils as part of that investigative process. But they're in the process of seeing what they need to do to address that. So they've got arsenic and PCB they found.
Yeah.
So
Did you mention keeping the emergency fund up? Is that coming up this summer, they said?
400.
it'll be by September.
September, reimbursing the emergency fund.
You know how much? 510,000 is all we need to get us all through 22. So, I mean, I'm looking at about 510,000 just to get us through 22.
Roughly, yes, in that range.
Yeah, roughly.
Plus Stauffer run,
Our-
plus Stauffer run.
Yeah, plus Stauffer run, which we'd still have 500,000 left over. in construction. So if you got 12 months, I'd buy the 12 months. Worry about it.
Yeah. It takes about 3 months to get through everything that we need to get through when you want to pull the trigger. So
I just don't think we want to, sit on,
Well,
borrow
we don't
money.
sit on, I mean, you basically arbitrage a little bit,
Yeah.
but you're still going to lose about 1%. So you're going to lose 1% of your funds. So you borrow 2.5 million, you're going to lose 25 grand a year.
yeah, and we haven't looked at whether 2.5 million is the right number or, something less than that.
Well,
is,
yeah, if you got, I mean, you have a 500,000 cushion through 22, and we're not talking about, I mean, this pump station elimination thing. I mean, geez, till you get through that, and that's going to be
Oh,
2
yeah,
years,
permitting and.
permitting.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wanted to provide you information.
No, I mean,
wasn't
it's a
trying
good
to tell you that
argument.
it was
It's a-
time.
The argument is that we may never see these rates again for another, 10, 12-year business cycle. And that's a possibility.
Get out your crystal ball.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get to that point, I don't think you should be making decisions.
And I do think that, you know, the borrowing costs and what we can earn on the money is probably going to stay relatively the same. So,
Well, if you really want to be bullish, you borrow the money, you fix it in, and you're betting on the interest. You could end up making money on it, but you're not supposed to make.
Yeah,
money.
you're not allowed
not
to.
supposed
You're
to.
not allowed to make it. Are you not allowed?
It's
Because what happens if you
it's
do?
tricky. And you got to give some of it back.
To who?
To who?
Uncle Sam.
You get taxed on that?
Yeah, theoretically, it gets taxed. It's. I'll have Scott come and explain all that to you. at some
No,
point
it's
in
okay.
time.
Really, it's fine. It's fine.
I agree.
Maybe.
I think we should hold off.
I just don't see anything.
I don't see
concrete
the
enough to make
advantage of
a reason for
borrowing
borrowing
money right now.
Um,
And the rates are what they're gonna be, but if, I just don't see the advantage of it myself.
Maybe revisit it in the fall, maybe.
Look at it in the fall, see what, see.
Yeah,
how
we'll
this,
continue to monitor.
This cycle that's coming is not pretty.
Yeah.
And
Well, by the fall, we're also gonna know
we're gonna know
any
a lot
city
more.
projects that might be moving forward.
And I will say, at the partners meeting yesterday, the city said they're looking at grant funding opportunities. Who knows what's going to happen with this infrastructure funding and how that,
Right.
may be applicable to these other projects. So we're still waiting for those processes to be developed, and determine who's eligible for that.
How does that work when the city goes for like some of that infrastructure funding and so forth? Does that filter down to the partners as far as the overall costs, or they just keep it for their chunk?
No, if it's for
A
a
project.
project that
It'll,
benefits everybody. It was-
Yeah.
The percentage of what's our responsibility.
and that could definitely be a possibility. So there's too many unknowns.
You have a different thought, Vinny? I mean, I think,
No, I think we wait till fall and
Wait.
revisit this and see where we are with interest rates and also where the projects stand as well.
We're hosting a meeting here in July if you would like to come for the partners.
Oh, really?
No,
We had fun yesterday.
you didn't get yourself in trouble again, did you, Hutch?
Really?
can't take him anywhere.
Future sewer extensions.
I left that on there. Didn't know Matt had an update of where they were with it.
Well, I think that was the Oaks conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the only thing we're looking at this point is.
Well, that was the only thing that made really sense. Um, You can argue that there's a good reason to spend money because you're going to save a lot of money. So, I mean, there's a payback on spending. The rest of the stuff, unless there's problems. Why don't we hear about problems? It tells me there isn't any problems. So.
Any other new business under sanitary sewer? Stormwater new business update on MS4.
We've been reaching out to many of the landowners in Stauffer Run because that is a priority catchment for the county and the effect to delist it. And so we've been reaching out to landowners to do projects on those properties. We've had 2 property owners that have agreed to move forward with projects, and we're working on a 3rd as we speak.
And why is stuff around Target? Or
It's a target because it's directly connected to the Conestoga. It has a lot of agricultural properties that feed into it within that 1 mile outside of the urban area that can be counted towards PRPs, pollution reduction projects.
Which we need credits in the Conestoga drainage basin. Part of our permit.
that how it's broken down?
Oh, so it is by basin.
It is, however, when we wrote our PRP, we wrote that Mill Creek and Conestoga were aggregated and Peckway was on its own. When we go to rewrite our PRP, we will aggregate all of them because they all feed to the Conestoga. And then any project we do in the urban area, anywhere in the township, can be counted towards the credits as a whole that are needed.
Peckway feeds the Conestoga.
Yes. Not in our township, but yes.
We've only got a short piece of the Peckway,
Yeah, I know there's only a little bit over there.
but we satisfied those credits when we did the project down at the campground.
I just didn't realize Peckway ran into the Conestoga. I thought it ran into the river.
It might not be too far from where the Conestoga goes into the Susquehanna,
Maybe it's like right
Um,
down there.
but it technically goes first into the Conestoga.
Now I learned something
Rick probably knew that, right?
I'm surprised Fred didn't know.
today. Yeah, but he probably, paddled up it, so.
The Conestoga Indians. Any other new stormwater?
I have nothing.
Any other business?
I do have one. The Fish and Boat Commission and Lancaster County Conservation District received some 319 money, which we can't claim as MS4 credits, so we didn't go in partners with them. But they're doing a stream bank restoration from behind Target down till it meets the Mill Creek through the Byler Farm. I think the address was 63 Whitmer Road. They have an area there where they're going to be crossing over the sewer line. And I hold permission from the board. They've got, up in the farmer's field, they got multiple, we'll say, fingers that just flood the whole field. They're trying to concentrate that to one area, and it's going to be 32 foot wide and about a foot deep. Where they cross right now, we're about 4.5 foot deep from the ground level to the top of pipe. So that would put that 3.5 foot of cover. I told them I'd bring it to the board. They did say if we need to, they would geotextile over it and then put like a number 4 riprap across the top of it so there's no washout. Being real wide, I said, you're crossing our easement. I'd have to talk to the board about it. It's not a big washout, but I just didn't kind of like it at first. There is another route they could take. They don't know if they have enough money in their fund to do that. But if need be, they would search out for funds if they weren't allowed to take it this way.
Wasn't that the sewer line that leaked like a sieve because there's so much wet water in there? And isn't there an immense amount of spring water in that whole little area?
We
So
lined
I'm
that. We lined
surprised
that.
channeling it would solve anything because there's little wet spots all over that area.
Yeah, and it's, I guess his livestock is tromping it down, but back behind Target is where that line collapsed years ago, if you remember, and then we had it
Right.
repaired
Exactly.
and then lined everything, slip lined everything the whole way to Mill Creek.
Yeah, because there was
It
so much wet water there. It just, even in drier, you still
Yep.
had spring water.
Yeah, we
coming
were
in there.
calling them car washes as we videotaped it. You can see the water pouring in. Now that we've lined
Yeah.
that,
I know, that's my point is, but I'm saying if they're trying to concentrate that stream, it's still going to be a wetland.
This is the kind of pollution reduction project that we would like to do on different streams to help without our MS4 efforts. So a lot of the reason they're trying to do this is to reduce sediment and washing and pollution into the stream. Is it going to change the fact that it's wet down through there? Probably not, but it's going to control it and manage it in a better way than it's managed now.
yeah, we did a stream bank restoration with 319 money at Gibbons Park where they would put logs in the stream and stuff to stop the washout.
Right.
They take the banks instead of being straight up and down, they beat everything out so the water level can come up and then go back down instead of just chewing the banks out to get rid of the
Right,
sediment.
exactly.
And this is the project the Fish and Boat Commission are doing down there. But I told him to hold up crossing our sewer line first, so the board gave permission.
Is that where the sewer line's at? Is there livestock that can access that area?
No, I don't think that, it's all farmed in that area.
Yeah, there's no livestock on that side.
Not where they're planning
It's
on
up
doing
at-
this.
Up at the petting zoo,
Yeah, this is all from
or
that,
whatever you call that.
this is all
Yeah,
from the petting zoo.
Down.
Down the
North.
creek.
How much sewer line is it gonna cover?
Oh, I got a drawing here I can show you. It's probably easier. I should have put it up. It's just, it's not,
It's almost perpendicular.
yeah, it's almost
to-
perpendicular to the sewer line. This is Whitmer Road's out here. Sorry, Todd. And this is that farmer's lane that goes the whole way over to 896. So they're gonna be starting, they're gonna be doing this channel the whole way down through here. But this is that area, there's little areas, it washes out here all the time because the water comes across. So they want to do a channel down through here. Like I said, 35-foot wide, and in the middle, it'll go to exactly about 1 foot deep. They just want to cross it right in here. They're going through Elsa's easement.
That it,
And then what that will do is this is a stream that comes down in behind Target. Target's up in here. They'll channelize that over to here, and then this will eventually make it to Mill Creek.
is that area farmed or will that just be like? a-
It's farmed up in here.
but not with
he's
the
got
sewer-
livestock.
This is not farmed, or is it just pasture?
It's mostly pasture.
Floods all the time.
Yeah, but the farmer's been dumping big rocks right in this area.
Wonder if it'll
'Cause it
change.
keeps
Wonder
washing out.
If you resolve the flooding problem.
They'll plant it.
Exactly.
You bet they'll plant it.
It's gonna change the,
You know, they came playing in here. 20 feet wide anyway.
on either side here.
Yeah, because what we do is we go in and mow it down. If it needs mowed.
I'm gonna dance. I got an email a couple months ago about that, something they were mowing or clearing. Where was that at?
I don't know. I have to check with Larry. I know.
Yeah, Larry emailed me.
Yeah, sometimes there's trees growing out over top of our sewer line. Like if something's real close to the line, we make sure we have access at all times. So if
Yeah.
there's something inside that easement, we go take it out or trim it back.
Charlie, how much cover is it that,
That'll have 3.5 foot of cover over top of it. This is the sewer line going right through.
right there?
Yeah, the red line's the sewer. This will be the swale they put in. And right now, they said it's running this way and this way and this way, and they want to try to concentrate where it comes off this road into this one channel.
So the only thing we gotta worry about then is this.
Right in that area.
Right there.
And they said they would go 15 feet either side to take it outside the easement. They would tow in geotextile and then put number 4s over top of it like a riprap apron. So it won't keep, my concern when I went out to meet with them was you're channelizing over top, it's going to start taking it. And then the next thing we'll have is an exposed sewer line, and I don't want that.
Exactly.
So they said they would protect it. Or they said with the money that they might not have, they would take it the whole way down this way, the whole way around the sewer line. But then they got to look at another permit to dump it in Mill Creek. Because this is dumping into a tributary, not directly into the stream. So I told him I'd bring it to the board.
And all of that runoff is coming off of farm ground. It's not coming up off of any other stormwater outlets.
That's all farmland back in there. Think, yeah, because American Music Theater and Target, they all drain into that tributary. Rockville comes into that
Yeah,
tributary.
everything goes in that. That's what I thought.
So this is all coming off his field and they're just trying to challenge it.
And we'll get credits or something like that, or no?
They're using that
Project won't-
319 money.
Yeah, it's federal dollars, so we
And I have a
can't take
question. It
advantage.
Probably has no relevance, but I have to know, why is the Fish and Boat Commission picking that?
Well, it's Conservation District really. And they had done a plan a number of years ago for Mill Creek. So they've been focused on trying to clean up Mill Creek for a while. So they, any project that is in Mill Creek, they like. There was also a meeting that we had, oh, it's been a while now, when we were offering to help farmers with their management plans on their farms, and Mr. Byler came to that plan and came to that meeting and complained about this stormwater
Okay.
that comes down through there. They were at that meeting, and that sort of put them together, and said, well, maybe we could do something to help you. So that's kind of the sequence of events, I think.
Okay.
And the current condition of that line right now, Matt, what's it look like?
It's lined the whole way down.
It's,
Okay, so it's already-
clay tile, we
Right.
relined
Yeah, I'm
it,
pretty
so-
sure. Yeah, I think we relined that whole system down through there.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I just,
I think, if it's a line pipe with 3.5 feet of cover, shouldn't have any issues. I mean, it's not like you have traffic driving over top of it all the time. So I wouldn't be concerned with 3.5 feet of cover over top of that pipe. That would be fine.
Do you want a motion for that or?
He wants to
Just
know
to
whether we want to
approve it.
allow it or
he
not.
wants to basically leave the bid there and say no, but
Oh, I say it up, people.
if we say yes, then say yes.
I'll make a motion that we allow the
I
culvert,
don't have a problem with 3.5 feet of cover. Yeah.
allow the encroachment onto the easement.
I'll see if I can have them go maybe 20 feet away from the pipe either side to give us a little cushion to put the geotextile down so we don't have any washout.
Right.
I think they have to monitor that area after they do a project for 3 years. I think that's what they're doing at Gibbons Park. Every once in a while during the year, they'll come up maybe sometimes twice a year just to monitor and then make sure everything's staying where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let them know.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other business?
I guess the partners meeting, I just mentioned briefly, what we ended up talking the most about was the city's plan to do a project to essentially look at the capacity and any I&I problems in the interceptor that goes down primarily along the river, then under the river to their Conestoga Gardens pumping station. And then from there, interceptor over to the Stevens Avenue pumping station. We have about 83% of the capacity that East Lampier's been paying for and obligated to. In the line that goes to Conestoga Gardens, and it's about 46% over to Stevens Avenue. My concern was that some of what they wanted to do, initially they wanted to do a metering, what I interpreted to be basically an I&I metering program to put temporary meters in through the wet season, see what's coming down through the lines and make a determination as to whether or not the capacity in the interceptor and if there was any I&I in the interceptor. In addition, though, what they're looking at is potentially I&I coming into the interceptor from tributary areas. And I interpreted that as being us paying 83% of the cost for their I&I work on their systems coming in. So I said I didn't think that was fair. So we met a little earlier before your meeting, are putting together, asked Matt to put together a alternative proposal on sharing the costs associated with what they want to do. We had suggested after we heard the initial proposal, not yesterday, but the partners meeting before that we thought that we should just inspect the interceptor and see if it's in good shape, has a lot of I&I coming into it, or what the conditions that are there. And then go back and everybody on their own do whatever I work on their own systems after that. Well, I guess there's some reasonable engineering argument for doing it the opposite way, but we need to come up with a more fair way of distributing the costs for it than just looking at what's in the agreement and how much capacity each partner has in the agreement, because we've got 83% of it.
Yeah.
So Matt's going to come up with an alternative sort of based upon sharing the costs of the meters rather than just looking at the percentages in the agreement. And then we'll talk to the city again and see if they find that acceptable or not. See how the project goes forward.
Is this a bad area for I? Is it something that probably?
Well, I mean, this interceptor's been in the ground for a long time. And we had the collapse in basically the same line. We have the Tennyson Avenue meter pit. And we did you guys paid for the repairs for the collapse, and then we lined the rest of our pipe down to the Tennyson Avenue meter station. So the rest of that interceptor going west from there down past Susan Avenue and over to the river, and then also where the rest of Bridgeport comes into the upper reaches of that interceptor. They join eventually and then go down together. It's, they've been in the ground a long time, and it should be looked at to see if they're in good shape. There's not an imminent collapse happening, and if the capacity is there, we paid for and own 83% of the capacity in that system. So yeah, we have an interest in making sure that everybody else hasn't gobbled up some of the capacity in that system that we should have available to us. So if the pipe needs to be, upsized because other people need more capacity, the argument is, well, there's no point in inspecting it first and then coming back and replacing it if there's a capacity problem. So we're going to see if we can work it out with them and get the project to move forward.
Motion to adjourn?
Just for the record, there's no public comment.
Oh,
None?
Okay.
It's unusual.
Everybody wants to join it. Okay.
So moved.